I want to say that it's a privilege to stand up here. I feel like every time I get to hold a microphone or take some kind of stage or this famous rug at the moment, I get to be here on behalf of a whole bunch of people who struggle, people with questions, and also people who are kind of finding permission to be honest. And so if I'm talking about depression and desire, I think as a really simple place to start, I hope you feel like those two things matter in your life, and I hope you feel like there's some people that you can unpack that stuff with. And to share a little bit of kind of what I come in or the world that I work in, I wrote a story in 2006 about a friend named Renee who was struggling with depression, with drug addiction, with self-injury, who had attempted suicide, and I ended up writing a story and posting it online. And it was met with this surprising, incredible response and really took on a life of its own. And ever since then, we've heard from more than 200,000 people. We've heard from people in more than 100 different countries. And essentially what folks are saying is, this is my story, this is my mom, this is my girlfriend, this is my brother, it's a classmate, it's a neighbor, it's a cousin. And we've also heard people say, this is something that I've never talked about. This is a question I've never asked. This is something I don't know what to do with. And it's been such an amazing thing to see people kind of step forward and find strength in realizing that they are not alone in these places. And I feel like I get to stand up here on behalf of so many lives that are beginning to change. People sitting across from a counselor for the first time, people stepping into treatment, whether it's the first time or the 10th time, people who are beginning to become unstuck, people who are beginning to let go of things they didn't know if they ever could, and people who are helping us believe that it's possible to start over, that sobriety is possible, that healing and forgiveness are possible. And so I get to be here on behalf of those folks. And I think it's well, first off, to paint a picture of what does this look like, what does this issue look like here in America. There's roughly 20 million of us who struggle with depression, and I'm one of those people. Untreated depression is the leading cause of suicide. For us in the room today, right now, suicide is the third leading cause of death. And I think the statistic that really shocked me, that really surprised me, was the one that said that 2 out of 3 people who struggle with depression, they never get help for it. And so if you sit with that, that says that the majority of people who live in this place, they live very much alone in this place. And I think it points to the reality that we're afraid of being judged, we're afraid of being misunderstood, we're afraid of being labeled. There's a lot of lies that we buy into. I'm the only one that feels this way. It's weird to feel this way. My friends are busy. My family, they're busy. I don't want to be a burden, or maybe I've been a burden for long enough. And yet, again, I get to sit here realizing that I have the privilege of running into people who have tears in their eyes and say, hey, I'm still alive because of this work that you guys are doing, or I began to get help because of this work that you guys are doing. And you know, we're sitting here in LA, and obviously LA is so known for storytelling. You know, the greatest storytellers live here, or so many of them do, and work in the realm of film and television, and certainly songwriters as well. And I wonder if I were to say, or to throw out the possibility that everyone in this room is living a story. Maybe that is comfortable, maybe that is very foreign, but I wonder how that would sit with you. And so maybe if you're comfortable going there, I would imagine that your story is one that includes desire. So much of that has been said today. And I would imagine it includes depression. And maybe if you don't relate to that word, I can imagine that something you relate to is pain, or to feeling stuck, or to bumping into some really big questions in this life. And certainly the further we get down this road, the more we have to deal with the end of things and the loss of people and relationships, and how do we move forward, and how do we keep going, and what does it look like to be okay. And the thing I want to suggest is the possibility that your story is sacred, the possibility that your story is unique, is priceless, that in a town where a lot of people say somebody else could play that part, that I would throw out the idea that nobody else can play your part. And my hope is that you feel like there's some people you can be honest with. And my hope is that when it comes to the stuff that hurts, the stuff that you don't know what to do with, that you feel like you're allowed to go there, you're allowed to be honest, you're allowed to ask for help. And I love today, I love that we're not just talking about the hard stuff, but I wonder about the good stuff. I wonder about the dreams. You know, maybe it's a dream to live somewhere, or to have some job, or to have a family. Maybe you're a young person, or you've been through a lot, and those ideas or those things feel impossible. That what does it look like to say, hey, those things matter? And I want to close with something that really has challenged me. Just a couple friends. I feel like we live in a world that is very much this what do you do world. That's kind of how we break the ice. That's how we talk to people. That's how we get to know someone on an airplane, even if it's uncomfortable. We just kind of say, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? And then inevitably we get to what do you do? And I have these two friends, and I've really been blown away by them asking a different question over the last year, two different questions. I walked into a Starbucks in Washington, D.C. with my friend Jason Russell, and he asks the girl at the register, like they got to talking, and he said, what is your dream? And I'm kind of like, who are you? Like, what kind of hippie thing is that? She was an African woman, and he went on to say, are you from Ethiopia? And then identified the city in Ethiopia that she was from, to which I only knew that at Starbucks the half and half is called breve, and that was the only remotely impressive thing that I could add. But I'll never forget him just saying to this girl, getting to know her, for 30 seconds, just, hey, what is your dream? And another friend, when he meets someone, when he gets to know someone, he says, what do you want? And I feel like those are just better questions, And what would it look like to be a people? I think first off, if you want to go there with strangers, it'll surprise them, it'll be amazing. But do we even go there with our friends, I think we live in this day, and maybe even fittingly here, where we're supposed to have it all together, We're supposed to be successful and have it figured out. And if we have problems, we're not really sure if they can come out or if we can go there. And I wonder, what would it look like to have a few people, to have a support system where you can talk about those kinds of things, where you can say to your friend, or they can ask you, hey, what is your dream? Or how are you doing with that dream? What do you want? What makes you feel alive? And then with that, I would just hope that you feel like it's okay to be honest, and it's okay to ask for help. And it's simply part of being alive on this planet. It's simply part of being a human. And you deserve that. You deserve friends. You deserve love. You deserve love when it's tough, when it's awkward, when what does it look like to love someone who lives in a place we've never been? That's a question and a conversation we get really excited about. So thank you guys.